You're watching an amazing podcast from an amazing podcast company.
Welcome to the Vegas Player Podcast. I'm Jimmy Naples. Johnny Ciccatelli couldn't make it this week, but we're here with the great Jimmy Mulidore, the Vegas player himself. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing today?
Great, Jimmy. Nice to see you again. You look great. I see you got the
Thank
Steelers.
you.
You got the Steelers emblem on you. That's good.
Oh yeah. So, last episode we didn't get to talk about him because we ran out of time. But let's talk about Danny Thomas a little bit. Tell us about Danny Thomas. You know, for those younger that may not know who he is, tell us a little bit about him.
Okay, Danny Thomas, the king of Hollywood at one time. He created a hospital, a very nice hospital, and actually he owned most of Hollywood. And he was a regular performer at the Sands. Now, he had two daughters, Marlo Thomas, who became very famous on television. And then he had another daughter named Terry Thomas.
Okay.
Most of the time when he'd come to the Sands, he'd bring them both. But for some odd reason, I'd be playing behind him, and he'd feature me in the show. And his daughter, Terry, got a crush on me. Now, you got to understand, I'm not blowing my own whistle, but that's the way it is, you know.
Right.
A lot of women went for me, so big deal. Anyway, he comes backstage and said, "My daughter wants to meet you." So I go and I meet her, and she's young and very, very innocent and beautiful. So she invites me to go to Beverly Hills. Ming. So I go there, they send a plane for me, a private plane.
Nice.
Ming, I was going, what am I doing? I get on the private plane. Now, the first time I meet her, we go out and have dinner, then we wind up at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, her and I, and the usual thing happens when you like somebody.
You had a little fun, huh?
Well, yeah, it was all right. It was kind of unusual, but it was good. And I had a lot of respect for her. And, of course, Danny and his wife was Italian. And Danny's wife. But anyway, I go back. And once or twice a week, they keep sending me plane ticket. Not plane ticket, but a plane. Right. They had a place in Palm Springs. I fly over there, treated like a king. They put me up with the greatest suite in the world. We'd have a great time. They never bothered us. Let her and I do whatever we want. And I go back. And then finally, I graduated. They start bringing me over to the house on Elm Street in Beverly Hills. I'm spending the night over there on Danny Thomas's house. Ming. I said, man, I'm really.
Were you excited? Were you excited or nervous?
No, I don't get nervous. No, I was so cocky. You got to understand, Jimmy. I mean, being with all the women I was from the time I can remember, nothing excited me. I just took it for granted that I was such an arrogant guy that I just thought every woman felt like that. But so
it's those Briar Hill cojones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I thought I was King Kong. And anyway, I'm over the Elm Street, and then I finally, I figured, man, Danny Thomas, with all of the connections he has on the shows, he had every show in the studio, in the TV market, locked up. He owned them. I figured, man, if I get next to this guy, I could be the king of Hollywood in the music in the TV industry. And probably the first time in my life that I didn't think it was right, because I was not in love with Terry.
Okay.
And I decided I'm not going to carry on with this farce. She wanted to get married, and I said, I can't do it. So I was honest with it, and we went our separate ways, which may have been the dumbest move I ever made in my life. But I thought that was the right thing to do. If you're not in love with somebody, why take advantage of the family just for your own personal gain?
Right.
And I went my separate way. Her sister, Marla, went on and married Phil Donahue of the TV fame. Yeah. And they had a successful marriage. But now, getting further down the line, as I became the musical director at the Hilton for many years, my boss, Henry Loon, said, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. to do a Gorbachev-Reagan dinner. Now, Henry was incensed with being a singer, like I Can't Stop Living. It was whatever his name was, country and western singer. And I wrote songs for him. We wrote songs for him. Anyway, we went to do this blitz, this Hotel Hilton blitz for the Gorbachev and Reagan. We get on the plane to go there. And who do you think's on the plane? Danny Thomas. Ming, yeah. I get on the plane. He's over there with some beautiful blonde chick, Maron. I mean, it's conductor. I'm going, here's St. Thomas. Now he's got some beautiful blonde with him. I'm going, Ming. So now he looks at me and he tells everybody, Jimmy Mulidore could have been my son-in-law. But it didn't work out. And Danny was beautiful, beautiful guy. I loved him. So we go do the date in Washington, D.C. Reagan, my only claim to fame was I followed Reagan into the restroom after he took a whiz. But anyway, we get there. Now, his conductor was a Mamaluk. And he kind of hit on that blonde chick that Danny was with. Okay. So Danny got brutal violent with him, and he fired the guy. And he asked me to conduct for him, which I did. And that was the end of my last time I ever saw Danny Thomas. Eventually he died, but I loved him. He treated me like gold. But I can't say enough nice things about Danny Thomas, his daughter Terry. I mean, they were just, and his wife. She was so wonderful to me. So that's my.
Well, Jim. Jimmy, he probably treated you like that, when he saw you later, because of the respect that you gave his daughter by, because, let's be honest, you could have married her and just for the status and the, and the wealth and all that kind of stuff. But you you were an upstanding guy, and you said, look, I'm not in love with you, and I can't lead you on this. And you did the right thing. So I'm sure he probably knew that, because I'm sure he probably asked his daughter, why didn't it work out? And, yada, yada. I'm sure there was that conversation, Yeah,
I can't do. You can't do that. But see, right. a lot of women will do that. Women will marry guys for money. Women are a different species. I mean, there are a lot of women. I mean, they'll do a lot of things. They'll marry guys for money. They could be 80 years old, 70 years old. They don't care. They'll go, right. Marry them just for money. They'll do anything. But guys, a lot of guys are not like that. I can't do that. So anyway, that's my Danny Thomas story.
Hey, great story. You're listening to the legendary Jimmy Mulidore, The Vegas Player. Make sure you check out Jimmy's book, The Vegas Player, at jimmymulidore.com. If any of the audience members out there have any questions, you can also reach us at steelvalleysyndicate@gmail.com. For the Vegas Player today, I'm Jimmy Naples with the legendary Jimmy Mulidore. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
That was an amazing podcast from an amazing podcast company. For more, subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/amazingpodcastcompany.